Well, this is. Where you playing? Then of course, you can free this kind of language, you're scary.
Correct.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 4th Commissioner meeting. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First line here is approve the minutes from the August 21st meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes, August 21st is submitted.
I second that.
No other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then approve our accounts payable vouchers.
I make a motion to approve the accounts payable vouchers as submitted.
Second that motion.
No other discussion. All in favor say aye. And approve our payroll docket.
Motion to approve payroll dockets as submitted.
I second that.
No other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And next up is our Chapo settlement agreement. Here for
Yes, so each of you have a copy of the settlement agreement, which has now been executed by the Chapos. The terms of the agreement are laid out in it. The beginning are the recitals, which are just basically, sort of formal parts. The main portion of the agreement is in subsection 1 consideration. That outlines payment of $125,000 as full and final settlement of all claims held by the Jefferson County Planning Commission in the state court action. In exchange for that, the Jefferson County would execute a satisfaction of the judgment, because there is a judgment currently that has been issued by the state court. Also in consideration, the county would waive the right to collect the entirety of the judgment, would acknowledge that the Chapos would acknowledge that the state court injunction prohibiting the Chapos from operating a commercial shooting range will survive the dismissal of the state court action. It provides the definition of shooting range, which is provided in our UDO. That Jefferson County acknowledges and agrees that the Chapos have remedied and abated the alleged violations on the property and have determined that current buildings or facilities are not associated with shooting range, and acknowledge that they have areas on their property for personal target practice that does not violate the ordinance. And again, the definition of shooting range in our UDO does allow for incidental shooting on private property. The other point on that, there was an outbuilding, a shed that was part of the consideration. The Chapos have since applied for and received a building permit on that, and so that is in compliance. Subsection 1E, then in exchange for the satisfaction, the Chapos would agree to dismiss their federal court action, as well as any claims that they have in the state court. And then in consideration for the payment, there's an agreement to forego any other costs, attorney's fees, expenses, etc. However, there is a reservation of right to petition for attorney's fees and expenses and costs in the event of any future violation of the continuous enforcement order or the injunction with regard to operation of commercial shooting ranges defined in the UDO. The rest of these are, again, relatively standard provisions for a settlement agreement. Both parties are able to retain a denial of liability. It is a release of all claims that are associated with this action. So, I mean, all claims that originate out of this particular enforcement action, both sides are releasing any claims that they would have as part of their as part of the consideration for this agreement. Indemnification means that any party that claims to have additional claims that are through one of the other parties that are indemnified, that's subsection 4. 5 is that it's a voluntary agreement and with the advice of counsel. Again, I represent the county in the state court action on behalf of the Jefferson County Planning Commission. The county is represented by Jeff Lowe in the federal court action. Mr. Lowe was part of the review of this document and made an approval of this document as well. Both parties will then dismiss any of their claims in both the federal and state court action. It is governed by Indiana law. Again, a non-admission of liability, that this is the entire agreement. Severability just means that if any portion of the agreement is deemed by a court later to be invalid or illegal, the rest of the agreement stands. Attorney's fees, there's a specific provision with regard to attorney's fees number 11, that is part of the settlement, but there's no additional fees paid outside of that. That both parties are competent to execute the agreement. That if there are any, there are no counterparts to this agreement, but basically it's that if any agreement is going to be present, it's going to be in writing. That this agreement will carry forward with regard to anybody who would be an inheritor in interest, either of the county or the Chapos. And that further assurance just means that if there are any additional documents that are necessary in order to carry out this settlement agreement, that both parties would make sure that those documents are signed. In this instance, the anticipation is that the primary documents will be a satisfactory judgment, which will be issued by the Plan Commission or issued on behalf of the county, as well as then mutual dismissals of the case. But this resolves all issues. And again, is part and parcel of the agreement to pay of the Chapos to pay $125,000. And they executed it on August 15th, 2020.
We need a motion to accept that.
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept the settlement agreement and release.
I second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Yep, yes, President. I'll switch it. I'll use this one for distribution.
Okay.
Would you mind signing that one too?
Yep.
And I'm gonna go ahead and do it at September Watch. Yeah. Thank you, Rand.
And next, we have Unified Development Ordinance Amendment, solar reading number 2.
Before you have the second reading, is it okay if I just mention
Yep,
something?
yep.
So at the last meeting, I mistakenly said that the procedure at this point would be that if the commissioners made any amendments, that the procedure would be to send it back to the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission would then have to review it before it bounces back to the commissioners. And that was the former procedure. Mr. Oxshire did some additional research, and I confirmed that the law changed on July 1st, 2025. And that currently, the current law states that once the Plan Commission has made its review and had its public hearing and has passed it on to the commissioners, whether it's with a favorable recommendation or not, that when the commissioners, if the commissioners make an amendment and adopts the ordinance with that amendment, that's the end of it. It does not have to go back to the Plan Commission after that point. So you are able to make a final determination with or without amendments. So I just want to make that clarification because I was incorrect when I said the procedure last time, because the procedure has changed within the last few months.
Okay. Ordinance number 2025-06, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of Jefferson County. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Jefferson County is advised that the Jefferson County Plan Commission has held a public hearing following the giving of required notice on an amendment to the zoning ordinance, and whereas said commission has given a favorable recommendation for the amendment to the zoning ordinance, and whereas this board concurs in the recommendation of said commission. Now therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Jefferson County, State of Indiana, that the Jefferson County zoning ordinance shall be amended to wit: commercial attachment, commercial solar energy system zoning amendments. Foregoing ordinance will be passed for the third reading. Yes, right.
That's up to you. The commissioners, if you decide to pass it on a second reading, you may, but if you want to have 3 readings, you certainly.
We can add our 2 amendments if we're in agreement and roll on.
That is correct. That you can, I mean, under the law, you can make amendments and you can take a final vote tonight, and that would stand as the ordinance.
Well, if we do that, we wouldn't have to do an additional moratorium since we thought we had to have them do it and then come back to us, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
We could still, because our
next reading would be before the.
18, 12.
And yeah, before the ending, so if we decide to have one more reading, we could do that. and then
Absolutely.
Pass
Yep.
it then.
It's your poison.
Well, I think we said we'd have 3 readings, so I well, I'm sorry, we're gonna,
Yeah.
we don't want to do
Okay.
that.
I wasn't making a
I
recommendation.
don't, no, I understand, I understand.
Appreciate
but,
it.
Yeah, thank you for the input, but just.
All right. And then we'll move on to surveyor Mike Pittman.
Wait a minute,
Whoop.
what are you amending from the solar ordinance? I'm sorry. You talked about amending the amended solar ordinance. So can you clarify what it is that you just read and what you're proposing?
Yours was
that-
about the added
Okay.
pasture land, right?
Yeah, pasture land
And I asked for a 650-foot setback. That's the only 2 amendments I know of.
Remember, Mr. Lee acknowledging that. I didn't remember that coming up for a vote. Doesn't have to come up for a vote if you guys have to vote if you're going to make those amendments, or is it just?
Not till we ratify it,
Not
right?
until you're ready to do it.
Right, it would be part of the vote, right?
So where are those amendments that you're proposing for the public to review before you vote on this?
So far, there haven't been, you've discussed amendments, but you haven't actually. There's
Just
been
at
no
the
vote
last
on
meeting.
those. Right.
It was
There's just
brought
been
to his
discussion.
attention about the
Correct.
individual wanted pasture land added, and I like the idea of 1,000-foot setback, but I thought split the difference and go to 650.
Can I ask how 650 is split the difference?
Well, I didn't have to do that. I could have just said nothing, so, you know.
Well, you could have stated 1,000 foot
I
like,
said I liked 1,000, but there seemed to be so much kickback against it.
well, I think there's a lot of kickback for it.
Well, I mean, sometimes you don't always get everything you want.
Never said that we do and you don't either, Mr. Little.
It's just, that's 1/8 of a mile. To me, that's fairly reasonable.
I think Mr. Bramer was questioning the difference between 500 and 650 as though it was nominal. It's just a question.
And it was just an answer. That's just,
So is that going to be published somewhere so people can see that you're,
I would hope so.
well, is this your policy?
Well, again, at this time, the Commissioner
still
of Board
in-
of Commissioners has not voted on any particular
Right,
amendment.
it's
So
just
that would
in the
be
works.
correct. So I mean, that would be part of the discussion that you would have in a public meeting. And at that public meeting, you would vote on any additional amendments that we'd be making to the proposal.
And then they would be reflected in
And yes, I
the
would,
new UDO amendments, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actual ordinance that you signed would include those additional amendments. That's correct.
Okay.
And would it be possible to have an amendment to protect the property rights of the adjoining property owners? I know that they've done that in other places.
Property value guarantee.
Value, property value?
Several counties in the state have adopted property value guarantee. I got it in
Value.
county.
That was,
I don't know how you would do that, but
it was discussed by the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission rejected that idea as not being a workable solution for the UDO.
I think it came up after the discussion. Mr. McGrath, do you have the Indiana code that changed July 1st that you're referencing?
Sure.
The property value guarantee, counties are St. Joseph's, Central Delaware, Madison, Franklin, and
Kosciuszko.
yes, yeah.
Allen, Spencer, Huntington, Fulton, and Fort Wayne have all gone to 1,000-foot setback.
It's Indiana Code 36-7-4-607.5.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I'd like to say that the landowner is also requesting an amendment to delete the portion of the ordinance requiring that soil be placed back to certain arbitrary compositions. attorney to see that.
Had two citizens email you their concerns. I want to make sure you receive them. One was from Rebecca Schaefer, another from Christy Marshall. And what changes she was hoping that you would address here. They are unable to be here. Can you acknowledge that you received those emails and put them in the record?
I didn't receive any from Rebecca Schaefer.
Rebecca Schaefer.
I did from
It
Marshall.
might be Schaefer Farms. Can we ask permission that keep that open so that they can resubmit them to you if you didn't receive them before tonight? They were sent today.
Schaefer.
I understand the commissioner's plan. It's not to have a vote. I mean, that you had your second reading and that your intent is to then have a third reading and potentially a vote at the next meeting.
Right.
Correct.
So does that mean that further amendments could be introduced at that last meeting or they'll?
Yes, no amendments have been introduced at this time. Amendments have been discussed, but not introduced.
So I'm just asking that they're still open to receive suggestions for further amendments from the public. Is that correct?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
But we're past the point of where commissioners don't have the same requirement on a hearing as
Absolutely
such.
not.
That's what the plan commission did, so it's a little bit different than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you what public comment you take at this point. I mean, the planning commission held a full public hearing. And that was what the recommendation was based on. So at this point, it's at your discretion how much public comment you take.
and they can send it, we can consider it. and-
Correct.
but
Yes, thank you.
Okay. GIS data sharing agreement.
but, but,
Missed Mike. Oops, you missed Mike.
Looks like, yep.
Try it again, Mike.
Thought your was better.
I already
New
put,
glasses,
I already put a check mark there.
these new glasses.
One of the reasons I'm here is I'd like to discuss the moratorium. I think one of the things we've got going right now, we've still got a lawsuit going. From the county and, perhaps Pat can, also enlighten us a little bit on the number of legal matters that our office is currently considering or being asked to consider with regards to nuisance complaints and property, things like that. We're having to shift a lot of money around for our legal fees. And I would like to see if we can, I'm afraid if we take the moratorium off based on these dates, that we're gonna get a bunch of solar applications, or we could. And quite frankly, I don't know how many we can take at one time, so I would like to see at least another year moratorium if we can get it.
I think the deadline is the 19th, right?
19th or when you approve the new order.
Sure.
Either
We
one.
will have the next reading and the third and final reading on the 18th, so.
So Orion, even though they, Pat, maybe you can address this, Orion could submit another application if we open it up again.
Anyone could.
Not till after the,
I mean, the moratorium would have to end, and it would be subject to any new application would be subject to the new
New
amendments. Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so so I guess where I'm coming from is, I've got a three-person office. And I would like to see us have a little more time. Plus, I'd also like to basically have a consultant on staff that we can use and review these solar ordinances and take a look at them. And solar applications, not the ordinance, but the applications, so that we can include that as part of the application.
As Mike and I have not discussed it ahead of time, but if you have your new ordinances in place and on the solar, once they're passed, if they can get passed before the moratorium would expire, personally, I'm not seeing the need for extending the moratorium at that time. As far as having available staff and so forth, and even as far as the money for it, our current fee structure is fairly substantial for a solar application. I think the last one was probably a $17,000 fee, if I'm understanding off the top of my head. And so I've explored that, and definitely am have a lot of empathy for the staff issues there. But with the amount of solar fee that we have in place, we should be able to hire outside consultant to help with that entire application process and the presentation to the BZA, and have more than enough dollars to do that within the current fee structure that we have set up. If not, the Plan Commission also has the ability to adjust their fee structures without it going through an ordinance procedure and so forth. We can establish those. So, Mike, we could have discussions at our next meeting and be certain that those fees are enough, but
Yeah, I inquired on this last one and I was told basically there wasn't anybody in the area that we could use. So I mean, we'd have to go outside our area to hire.
well, I've talked to a couple of different people that would be firms that would be willing to take that on for us.
Can you tell us where we're at on the Orion appeal?
The record's been filed, and at this point, the only discussion was that potentially that the case would be set for argument between the parties in front of the judge, but at this time, that has not been set.
So the county has not filed a response to the complaint,
Responses to petitions for judicial review are not required under the Indiana rules.
so the record is your response.
That's correct.
Is there a time limit just for the court to rule on some kind of action?
I mean, once the court fully takes it under, and I mean, the trial rules do provide for courts to make decisions in a relatively expedient fashion. But as things stand right now, because the court is still under review and because the agreement was to have an oral argument scheduled, at this time, the court is not like delayed in making an order.
Waiting for the moratorium to be lifted.
I certainly am not waiting for the moratorium to do this.
No, and say you.
I don't know if this is the correct time, but I would like to see if it would be possible to have a moratorium on AI, because I don't know if it's true, but I've heard a rumor that they're considering Marble Hill. And they have just put one, as everybody knows, down in Clark County. And these take an enormous amount of water and electricity. And I don't feel that we know enough in our county about them to face that yet. And I don't know if this is the right time in the meeting to bring this up, but it does have, is connected with solar in a way, and I don't think that we're prepared for, and I know that they tried to put them in different, in Bedford, they're considering it right now. I think they have a moratorium in Bedford, Kentucky. And I think that that would be an important thing until we learn more about it and are prepared.
I mean, it's not on your agenda for this evening. I mean, it's certainly something you guys could consider as far as whether there's more research. I assume there was about data centers.
Yeah, data centers, I would imagine, right? A data center, not AI in particular, maybe where they store AI stuff,
Media
but
center.
it would be a data center.
Specific data, I mean, like just major computation centers where,
Facebook or Meta's put
Yeah.
that one there in River Ridge.
Mhm.
The one that they're building now has 7 gates. It's enormous. And why they would need another one at Marble Hill or Bedford, Kentucky, I don't understand that. And I don't know, I mean, we have the river, but we also depend on that for drinking water. They use a lot of water to cool.
Yeah, we can look into that more. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that would have to go back into the
Yeah.
zoning ordinance, right, the UDO, and they'd have to go to the plan commission to. I think,
To the best of my knowledge, we do not have any development standards for a data storage center. They would basically be very similar to any other type of industrial type construction. We are set up to where they would have to go into an industrial area. They're not set up to where they could be a conditional or special exception on any other usage. So, there's very little land that we have in the county that is not that's zoned industrial, that would be available. So they have to ask for a zoning change if it was at any location other than Marble Hill, or I can't think if there's much else of any size to it that's industrial, to the best of my knowledge. I don't know what the proving ground property is zoned.
Residential.
Hey, and then
Unless, I don't know what it is north of the fire line, but if they wanna go there.
already residential.
I don't think there's a lot of exposure there other than the Marble Hill location.
All right. Okay, so. Moving on to our next item on the agenda is the GIS data sharing agreements, and Heather's not here, so. Our mapping company, WTH, has sent over 2 data sharing agreements. The 2 companies have requested specific information from our parcel layers. CoreLogic, which is data company that deals with banks, insurance, and mortgages, is requesting multiple mapping layers. Orion Renewables is requesting addresses and parcel mapping layers. So the 2 agreements we have here from WTH. Where technology happens is what, instead of what the heck. It's where I'm used to Facebook or texting, right? What my kids do me all the time. Where technology happens, WTH, 2 agreements. Have you got to look at those 2?
Looked over, you said, I mean, I think most of the wording is the same, the differences are on the pages where what layers they're asking for. And,
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
the one was pretty extensive, the CoreLogic, and then Ryan was just, said the addresses and parcel mapping layers, so.
They're asking for additional layers. Is that what that agreement is, or to share your information that's privy only to the county?
I don't know if it's pretty out of the county.
Yeah, I mean, you can go online and look
Yeah.
at these things, I think they just wanna be able to put it on their map.
Right.
With it, so they would get
It's,
that.
it's just a sharing agreement, yeah, share information that the county supports on GIS that's shared with them, yeah. It's public record information.
Is it a different layer? Why do you need an agreement if it's public information? I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand.
It's the use of it, it's just that they're, yeah, I mean, basically there's
License to use that information.
sort of, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Are we opening up a can of worms here? I mean, would this be, developers have to go through the same procedure,
I believe there's some of these
Yeah,
before.
yeah, we've had to do that. Ask for those layers, then.
Yeah. I think it is becoming more common that they're asking for layers, yeah, but I mean, in fact, I believe there's a change in the statute that specifically sort of opened the door on it. But I mean, yes, I believe that you're gonna see more of these, but.
so they'll have to do the same procedure?
Yeah. they'll have to go through and
definitely, yep.
Okay.
ask for them.
We've done one for county roads.
Mhm.
Why everybody sounds what.
I was with LTAP or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I forget, but anyway.
So I make a motion, we approve the data sharing agreements, one with CoreLogic and then one with Orion Renewables as they are presented.
No, second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
In the end,
Is there money exchanged in that agreement?
Yes,
I mean, it's,
$1,500.
yeah, it's de minimis.
So is that gonna be a public document, or do I have to make a request to see that? What kind of money are they paying you to data share?
$1,500.
$750 for
Oh,
Both
papers, yeah.
I mean, it's mostly just to cover administrative cost.
And now we have our department updates. I think they're all sitting over in the other room. Who's coming over first? Hey, Brian. Hey. You first, huh?
I really don't have a whole lot. So I told you a few weeks ago, we got the new PC for our Bookeye scanner. All I had to do is get the software installed. I've been hounding Priority Engineering, getting it done, and they've been putting me off, and it looks like they've now gone out of business. So I was all.
Did someone buy him?
I don't know.
Oh.
I was all fed up with them yesterday, so I emailed, sent it. I was pretty happy with myself, and then it came right back as undeliverable. Shot me down. So they're, call them, their voicemail's full. Even their website doesn't even work. It's been taken down. So, anyway, I got a hold of the Image Access who makes the Bookeye scanner, who actually manufactures it. And I reached out to them to see if they can find us another service provider in the area. So we can hear back from them. So right now, we're not scanning anything. If I don't get something in the next few days, I'll dig the old PC back up out of the basement and hook it back up and
Windows 7.
Sales piece. Sales place. So.
Do you have the floppy drive? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, that's really it. Just everything else I shot you guys out there a couple of days ago, so. Everything else is going all right. Questions? I'll keep you posted.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, and I told Tabitha, so she's aware too, so.
Who's, Trish, you up?
Yeah,
Animal,
go ahead.
animal shelter.
You know, dealing with that Virginia Avenue thing that we done, it's been taking a lot of time and a lot of energy, stuff like that, but we're pushing through that. Which just brings me around, though, we still need to get some ordinances, better ordinances, please, we really need to work on them. So situations like this are a little easier to be able to charge, you know. Really need to set something up. And then the staff wants me to thank you all for stopping in and thanking them. They were very appreciative of that. We're about to launch the website, jcas39.com. That's the first time we've announced it, but we're pretty much set on that. We're other than that, really, nothing else is. It's just been all focused on the Virginia Avenue. It's still like one dog getting caught from there.
We have a hearing on Tuesday.
Yes. I didn't know if I could say that.
Yeah,
right.
it's,
Okay.
yeah, we have a hearing on Tuesday.
Hearing on Tuesday. And it's 19 dogs total that have been came in from there so far. So we got 13 the first day, and then they've just been scattered out as we've been catching them since. Any questions?
So you only got one left.
That we know of.
Oh,
Now,
but you
now
know.
we heard that he said he had 24 dogs on the property, but I haven't seen 4 more, just this one. So,
You did a tremendous job, you and your staff, on what you put up with, so kudos to you.
thank you for that. I think the majority of them will be easy adoptable too.
Mhm.
Just took a couple of days and they come out of their fear, but well, you've seen
Yeah,
some of them.
yes.
They still just run and.
They've been traumatized, to say the least, before you guys got to.
That's all I have.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trish.
Thanks, Chris.
Matt? Looks like it's EMA time.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot other than we're just gonna need EPA FEMA. And we're about a third of the way through the process, I think, and And Jason's running tight ship out there. He's got those guys in tip top shape, and if it weren't for John, he's been a rock star helping us get through this paperwork and stuff and get these things squared away, so. I'd say we're probably at the halfway point, and we got, a month and a half, almost 2 months to go before the deadline. So, so we've hit all the milestones, and he's got us way ahead of the ballgame, so he's done a fantastic job. So, thanks, John, for doing that. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of stuff that websites horrible to navigate.
We're from the government, we're in there.
Exactly, yes, yes. And they're not here now, which is awesome, because they were here, and it was like they were ants for a long time. So they said they were showing up with the first time they came, they had 3 people. And the next time they came, they were supposed to get here at noon on the Monday and leave at noon on Wednesday. And they were here for 2 months, and they had 46 people here. We were like fishing chairs out of the closet. Brandon was throwing stuff away to bring them over down. He was sit down, so. But we're through it. I think that the teams that were here, that went out to assess all the damage in the city and the county both, they were very attentive. They were not in a hurry. They took their time. They asked a lot of questions. We give them a lot of answers, and I thought we worked really well together as a team for everybody who's been here. There were a lot of administrative people who were doing some stuff that we didn't get much interaction with, which was okay, but the team that was here assessing stuff and the people who are gonna be pushing these projects through were absolutely fantastic. So I think we're sitting pretty well, and it looks good for us so far, so pretty happy where we are. Any questions at all? Nothing.
Well, no question, but
Yeah,
with the reimbursement you're looking at for our county, kudos to you.
thanks. And like I said, it's a good team effort, and you've made the right decision with Jason and Brandon and these guys. I mean, it's a good team. I think we got together and it seemed like we're hitting on all cylinders, and we really don't have much choice, because we go from tornado to winter to snowstorms and then the flood. It's kind of been our start to our careers here. So we're getting through it, and it's just another day, and we'll be fine.
No paperwork.
Yeah, no doubt,
Yeah,
no doubt.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that, like all of that.
Yeah. How's the county highway?
Tired.
Yeah.
Tired.
Why
be
is that?
honest.
Why is that?
Circles, lots of them. We finished up our chip seal here last week, just give you guys a heads up on that. We did several roads, did several gravel road conversions, kind of spread that out. They look pretty darn good. We had a little trouble, on a bridge area, we covered up so we didn't get it all nasty. That's a whole nother trick there, so, yeah. But yeah, all chip seal turned out really good. The joint venture with Scott County, Kevin over there is fantastic to work with. We got their new chip spreader, got the bugs worked out of it and got it rolling. Phenomenal. We move on with that. Actually, we had an engineer come over from Civilcon here and wanted to check it out, and he was pretty impressed with it. He was actually shocked more than anything. He didn't think the county would do as well as they did. So they did good. Contrary to popular belief, but it
He's
is.
still in disbelief, look at.
Well, it's not every day you want up him, but God, so. But yeah. Poor Steve.
Literally tongue in cheek there.
Yeah, poor Steve. But other than that, we rolled right out chip seal straight into putting culverts in and trying to get caught up with some drainage issues that we knew was there, trying to get some of them punched in and took care of. And we got several others, of course, Last night we had just a little minute tree cleanup with a little bit of the storm that went through last night, but other than that, everything's just rolling. Of course, John's been helping me there with FEMA, thankfully. So we're rolling with that. Matt, like I said, he's phenomenal with that. Everybody that helped out. I want to thank everybody in the public for being very patient with us this year, because there's lots of new faces at the county highway, and it's been trying. But we're pulling together. We're doing pretty good from what I've seen so far. So just want to applaud them a little bit. And then I know we got the Canaan Fall Festival coming up here in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So they did ask about putting concrete barricades on all the new alleys. So I told them, no, I don't want to do that. So we're going to be taking barricades over there. We just asked people not to tear up the barricades while we're over there, because it is for, There could be a little kid running around over there, you know, we don't want them hurt. And of course, we don't want the new asphalt, with the 2,000 pound concrete brick laying on new asphalt, so. So that's just another thing that we got coming our way, but other than that, kind of all I've got tonight. Anything you guys,
I just want to tell you, you're right, that was impressive when you was out there on Chicken Run, when I went out with you. Yeah, amount of ground you cover in the time compared to what it used to be.
yeah, I can't wait to get the new truck in.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
It's not on its way yet, but I mean, it's all taken care of, ordered. Once that goes, I'm sure everybody here has seen a chip seal road where we have that seam down through it on our narrow county roads. That'll be gone. The new truck will spray full width. The chip spreader will be full width, so that'll eliminate that seam that's in the road that, you know, we get complaints about it, but you know, after the first snow, it's pretty much cool. It
That
cranks it
snow
down.
does amazing stuff.
It does, so.
Takes humps out, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we're excited about that. That's gonna be a major, major improvement, not let alone, you know, we get to carry an extra 1,500 gallons of oil. Keep we'll get to roll a lot faster. We'll probably outrun the state at that point. So, yeah, we're pretty excited. And my kudos to the drivers, because everybody told me they had to be hooked to that new chip spreader. They do not. We free float, so we're not hooked together. And I'll tell you, the guys are rock stars, because you're going up, down hills, round curves. If you see them, just say, good job. You know, that's all I need, you know, just a little pick me up every now and then. So, but other than that, that's all I've got on it, but thank you for commenting on that. They'll appreciate that, so.
Yeah, good job.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Thank you,
Any
Jason.
questions out here? I'm up behind.
You opened the door.
It's narrow.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all. Brandon's not here. All right. Okay, now we open it up for a few minutes of public comment.
You're up, Bob.
He's always quiet.
He's always on top of his game.
Yeah.
Chelsea Jubilee this weekend.
Is that this weekend?
Yes, sir.
159, 159 years.
I believe so. But I believe it's the oldest continuous community festival in the state.
Yep.
I have a question concerning the setback from the solar. It's 650 from property line or from existing buildings?
It's,
Well, currently it's passed by the planning commission, it's 500. And it's from
it's
500 feet from property line,
property line.
and then 500 feet from the closest edge of the primary structure of a parcel who's non-participating.
I just want to say that I still think we need to go to the 1,000 because there's people who's bought land to subdivide later in life to get a pension of their kids to get started, and all of these narrow setbacks and this, that, and the other, that's gonna be very hard for them to meet building code requirements and stuff. You know, before, when they bought the land with the idea of doing that in the future, they weren't confined by all of these other things that's happening with solar. So they've invested in this land, they've told their kids or even their aging parents that they'll put them on their land. And now it's gonna be rather hard to do that and be safely from a solar panel or from with an if you put up a new structure. And they bought it with that intention, and now they can't use their land as they intended.
I like to say that we're gonna go with 650 from the property line rather than closest edge of the building. 650 from the property line. About unreasonable from units.
Yeah, because other counties have always been put 1,000 feet from property lines.
Several
And we're down to 650 from an existing building, so you can't develop the rest of your land that you have and have any setback from these panels.
I thought you said.
So it's 500 from the property line, and Any parcel without an existing dwelling platted for residential. And then any parcel without an existing single-family dwelling, church or cemetery, in a parcel designated R1, R2, or R3, it's 500 from the property line. Then parcels without an existing family tree structure in ag, MB, GB, industrial 1 or 2, that's 200 feet from the property line.
Mhm.
So then circling back, the 500 feet from the closest edge, but at least 200 feet from the property line, that's like the bare minimum. So I mean, in most sectors, it's 500 feet from the property line. It's just that in these other sections, ag, NBGB, I1 and I2, it can be 200 feet from the property line. However, if there is a structure on it, then in that instance, it has to be at least 500 feet from the structure, 200 feet from the property line.
So the structure is the biggest game in play right then.
In,
Right.
in those particular districts, in the residential districts, it's 500 feet from the property line.
Right. But no structures on it is 200 feet. If it's RA, right?
Yeah, if there's not a structure, it's 200 feet. So if you subdivide that intentions to build, you have nowhere to build because you're closed them up to 200
I
feet.
think you said if there's no structure on,
Yeah, if there's no structure on a residential or an R1, R2, or R3, sorry, platted for residential, R1, R2 on R3, it's 500 feet from the property line. If it's without a structure in AG, NB, GB, I1, and I2, it's 200 feet from the property line. But if there is a structure on it, then it has to be at least 500 feet from the closest edge of the primary structure and no more and no less than 200 feet from the property line in all districts.
Please keep in mind, 650 is 2 football fields, so that's quite a bit.
Should be.
I'm sure that you all, I understand. I believe in my property rights. And I believe in my neighbor's property rights, and I feel like the state paid 150 and then 500. I think anything more, their property rights are infringing upon my property rights now, so I feel like it's even though it's tough, 500 is still a little tough for us, but we're willing to make it work.
I'm entitled to a view though.
But it's the
Yeah, me too.
200-foot.
You know, the 200
The
foot with no
200 foot is the
existing
issue.
building, and then you want to build, you bought that land with the intention of dividing it so that your children or a parent or somebody could build next to you. Now their building's going to be within 200 feet of a solar panel or closer.
She's looking into the future.
I'm looking into the
of
future,
Her
but
property.
people,
In other words, if we go with the 200 foot, there's no structure there, so now they can go 200 foot. Okay, but now she wants to build, or her family wants to build a house there. We still got to honor that 200, now we're working off a 200 foot. So if they build a house, that structure that she's building is now 200 foot to their structure, not 500, not 650.
right?
Let's make it uniform.
And I would like for you to be more specific on when a property joins a county road. Are you working off the property line to the road ditch? Are you going to the center of the county road? For instance, like if we build a home in Jefferson County right now, I believe, and I don't know if he's here, but I think we have, the closest we can be to the county road is 90 foot to the center pin of the county road. So if there's no, if the adjoining property is a county road, what are we gonna use? It's 80 from the center of the road.
80.
Yes.
on the sides of to the side property lines from the structure is the distance, because they can't build on the property line, right?
Ag property, it's 20 feet from the
20 feet.
sides. Yes.
I think what I'm getting out of it is this is laid out for the solar.
Correct.
If they come in, that's theirs. They're saying if they want to go ahead and build on that property that's within 200 feet, they can't do it. I mean, I don't know if that's
correct.
We can do it, but the structure would be less than the 500 or to whatever you approve.
Right, because the structure will come in for solar.
I wouldn't have that safety buffer because, you know, by the time like say the property line's 20, or the setback for building is 20 from the property line. So I put my house at the 20. I've only got 220 feet instead of 500 for safety, for health and noise reasons. Because you've put it at 200 and they put the panels in, and so you've shut me down for future use of my property in the way that I bought it for. Because I don't want to put my house within 220 feet of a solar panel, because of health and reasons and stuff like that, they're recommending further, they're recommending 1,000.
It would be a lot easier to administer too from the BZA to have a uniform as opposed to trying to identify housing structures or existing buildings and all, and it would allow you to expand and build.
You have the hogs and everything have to be 1,000
The hogs
feet.
had to be 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
They should be uniform across our board.
Absolutely.
And I think you're talking existing structures, right?
So, yeah, so the provision, the five hundred feet
That's
from the
the
coastal
key
state,
right there.
200 feet from the property line is when there's an existing structure. Otherwise, I mean, without an existing structure, it's 200 feet from the property line, only in ag, only in AG, NB, GB, I1, and I2. But in all residential, without an existing structure, it's 500 feet from the property line. So if there's a residential property without an existing structure on it, 500 feet from the property line, so this is what's gonna happen. So if you build a house there, you're gonna be a minimum of 500 feet, no matter what.
But there's a lot of these agricultural lands that are being an acre or two given to their children to build on, and so you're dividing the agricultural land and you're limiting them to the 220 feet, because they got the 20 foot from the property line required for building, and then you've already established a 200 foot before the house was built. You see what I'm saying? So you're shutting down my rights to use my piece of property for what I bought it for.
Again, you can still,
You can still
this doesn't
build it,
prohibit
that's your
that building. It's
choice.
just that, yeah, at that point, once solar is already in, then you know where you're building. in
Yeah, I don't
comparison to
have
what
any
solar is.
safety zone for my health reasons or my noise reasons. That's the whole reason that we're putting in setbacks is for safety and noise and all that. So I give up my rights to that because you said from existing structure. And there wasn't one there yet.
Right, because there was, yeah. Because there wasn't one there.
That'd be like you buying a building lot and then all of a sudden they tell you that you've got exactly 20 foot to build your building, and then they change the ordinance before you got it built and said, oh, you have to have 30 feet. Well, I don't have 30 feet now. You know, I can still build, but I don't know, just, it's not allowing me to use my property the way I invested for future use.
I think that's why so many counties are doing that 1,000 foot setback. If they're adding county after county in the state, they're going to the 1,000 foot setback.
Because then it's from the.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
This is
There's
the
not a
primary,
structure there.
and this is the primary issue with all zoning issues is that, you know, in general, it's going to be limiting one party's use of the property or the other. I mean, the county's not required actually to have zoning ordinances, and in that instance, anybody can use their property for anything.
That's what's going on in Trimble, right?
You know, so that, but I mean, zoning ordinances, they are walking that fine line, you know, it's a tough, you know, line to walk between how much do you restrict the use of property, because one way or another, it's going to restrict someone's use.
Well, they can still use theirs for solar, but you've shut me down being able to use mine to build a building. They just have to give up a little bit.
This
more. They
ordinance,
can't have-
this ordinance doesn't prevent anyone from building buildings.
No, but building within the
Outside.
recommended safety zone from a structure.
Isn't Indiana a home rule state?
Would you, I guess, depends what you mean by that.
Your county controls your county and your,
Oh.
in your county.
Yes,
You make,
the
the
county officials,
sandboxing, you make the rules
within the limits of
Within
federal and
reason.
state law, yeah,
within reason. So if a developer.
within
is-
federal and state law. So
If a developer is interested in coming to Jefferson County, they can play by our rules or they can ask for a variance. And, you know, we can set the rules high and protect everybody.
Yeah.
And they can always ask for a variance at a later date.
But
At
you
the
can't,
BZA, but once you approve these ordinances and you allow it, and they come, they're here. You can't go
You
back
can't
and
go back
change
and
it, and they're not gonna
There's that
Set
1,000
their-
that can come in.
redevelop.
All of our solar ordinances that would be going in are still, they're a special exception, they're not a conditional use, so the developer is still, whatever package he presents is still going to have to go before the BZA And any of the adjoining property owners or any of the county as a whole will have a great opportunity to put forth any of those arguments and so forth as to why or not this special exception should be granted. There's a required public hearing, so these ordinances do not make it at all to where developer for solar can automatically build something in the county.
It's an industrial use, so it should be limited to an industrial zone.
But once we put it in our UDO, then that kind of lays the baseline for them. So though it is gonna go through this process, they're looking at it as this, and how are you gonna fight it necessarily in court? If they say, well, this is what your county has put down as the rules, that this is acceptable, and now they're asking for this, but the UDO says another thing. So to protect everybody from the beginning, wouldn't it make sense to put it in the UDO? That's the point of the UDO, is to lay the guidelines.
So first of all, the zoning ordinance didn't have anything about solar in it before. And previously,
That's why we're here.
the county, and then the county adopted the UDO, and so it's already in the UDO. The UDO already has solar in it. These are amendments to that solar ordinance in an effort to make it more form fit to the county. But the other thing that the county, so yes, we're home rule, but that is within the confines of both federal and state law. And the state of Indiana has passed a statute that says that a county cannot pass ordinances that unreasonably restricts solar.
There's several counties that are straight out banned solar.
I'm aware, and I don't know what the legal challenges on that are gonna look like, but there is a statute in place that says you can't do that.
Well,
So-
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying ban it.
No, I know.
How you make
I'm just saying, I'm just saying that as the attorney who's been involved with both the plan commission and commissioners, that's the balance that
But
that
they
we're
have to
trying to strike.
protect the not participating landowners.
That's the best
And
part
that's
about
what your job is to protect the land right through there.
So I have this land and you're not protecting my ability to use my land in the future as I planned when I bought my land.
There is a balance between protecting everybody's interest in their land, and that includes both the people who want to use their land for solar and the people who do not want their land, to be near solar. That's a balance. That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
not telling them they can't put it on there, it's just don't use 150 acres, use 120 to allow me room to put my house and use mine, otherwise you're telling me you can't use yours as you planned. Sorry, they can, but you can't. That's the way I see that, it's okay for them to be able to use their land, but I can't use mine.
This ordinance does not prevent people from building as close to solar as they want to.
I bought my land before solar came along, so now I don't wanna build that close to it.
I understand.
But you're putting it in so that I have to, if I wanna keep that land and use it.
I'm not putting anything in.
No, but I mean, that's what's being proposed.
I have one question. A lot of these companies I've heard come in and buy and get the solar in or take it so far and then they sell it to a utility. And then the utility comes in and they use eminent domain to take people's property that have not signed up and are not getting money from the solar. So are we protected from that? No.
There was substantial discussion about that at the public hearing, and that in fact, the demonstration was that these are not listed as utilities. And that would have to go through the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission before that would ever be an issue. So, and I believe that there was even discussion about that being part of the agreements that could go into place when when a solar field is put into place as a special exception.
May I approach? May I come up and speak?
Sure.
Sure.
The first goal of Jefferson County's comprehensive plan, it says, is to support the viability of agriculture in Jefferson County.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I've wanted to ask this all along. Who proposed these to be part of our comprehensive plan? The farmers, correct?
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, we bring that up, but it wasn't like pieces of property showed up. It was farmers saying, I want to protect what I want to protect, right?
They came up with the comprehensive plan.
Well, they had
thought
input,
the
they had,
committee-
well, we didn't do it in a vacuum. We let people come and present information. And so out of the
accepted it.
out from farmers. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, it was farmers who came and made that.
Great.
recommendation, and so now, no,
Okay,
we have let you go on. I
okay.
mean, so farmers have made that recommendation. We accepted that recommendation from farmers. That farmers wanted to use their land for agriculture, but it was a farmer who's brought this to us as far as solar. It's not like we have gone out and solicited solar companies to come to Jefferson County, right?
Okay.
Have we? No, we have not. Okay, I'll answer that for you. We have not gone out and done that. So when we say that, let's keep somewhat in mind that farmers are asking for this to happen. It's not like it's somebody else.
Handful.
Well, I can't help that. It's farmers, once again, who have come to us with, or the company through these
For
farmers.
agriculture.
Can
So
I
we're
finish?
agriculture.
Sure, go ahead. We keep bringing that up, but you know, it's farmers who we're
Well-
trying to protect in that statement.
At the last meeting, I wasn't here, but I watched it on the web, and you stated that Saluda is wet. So I went to this afternoon to the USDA Web Soil Survey. It was really hard to navigate, and I'm really proud of myself. But I finally came up with some information, and I went to Jefferson County and did the little thing where you have to isolate an area. And what I did was the area of Saluda. I wanted to see what the USDA classified that soil for the whole area. And it had, it did, I will, if you like, can I give you each a copy of what I saw? And I just did this about an hour ago. This is the area, that's the bottom part of Jefferson County. And what it totaled in acres of that little area is 21,209 acres. Of that, it's in 3 categories: prime, prime if drained, and not prime farmland. And I totaled it all up. Prime was 6,000, this is approximate, 6,287. Prime if drained was 9,117. Not prime was 5,240. So prime if drained is when you tile it. And people, they're doing it all over the state. It can be done and you can make it prime. And that would come to the prime and prime if drained would be 16,000 acres. And the not prime is 5,240. So there's more, a lot more, 2/3 more, over 2/3 more good soil to farm on than there is not. And if we go back to what the farmers, the goals to support the viability of agriculture. And this is, I thought, supposed to be, and I'm not saying it is, but if this is poor farm ground, it's well worth preserving. And I'm asking that for 1,000-foot setback to protect our good farm ground. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What type of a framework do you have of getting the money they promised you, the solar companies that promised the county?
What kind of framework?
When at the first meeting we went to down at Crystal Beach, a year and a half ago.
That was city.
That was city, but it's happened in other counties where they promised them so much money for the first so many years to offset what they would be losing in property tax values or et cetera, or to help with schools. None of us either way in. Let's just say it. I've seen where several of these counties and cities, these solar companies have went in and been in existence for 2, 3, 5 years, and they've yet to see $1 of that promised money. And in the meantime, these solar companies have asked for tax abatements. So then you're not even collecting money on them because they've asked for a tax abatement. They've not paid you the money to offset that, and the property values around it have declined, so you're gonna collect less than property taxes from those. So I'm like, can the county withstand all these hits financially? Can we absorb all of that? You know, if we bankrupt us, then where are we gonna be?
Well, there is something called an economic development agreement. And that's what everyone signs if that goes forward. And so there are some documents. I guess they're as good as what they're written on, but that's what you've got to push to make sure that they abide by. So I'm not sure why the other counties aren't receiving their funds from the economic development agreements.
Now, the county did give economic development to IPA on battery storage system over here on Shunpike and Paper Mill.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't started that we know of, or that money for that benefit wouldn't start until they're actually operational, correct?
And what is the update on that? And is that connected to solar?
Well, there was an attempt to connect it to solar, but that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
So
But will it go in if the solar doesn't go in?
from what we hear, I mean, the plan is yes, but we have not, could they decide not to? Yeah, they could decide not
What's the
to.
timetable?
That's our backyard.
Sure, I don't know what the timetable is. They're still trying to determine if they can make that project work, so.
Did they mention solar to you when they came to ask for that?
Initially, no.
So were they misleading when they came to you?
And they get a conditional use permit for that.
Because it connects right
For a
to
year.
what they tried to put in, turn us on.
Yeah, they got a
license
change permit,
permit,
that started there, but I don't remember if they came for there.
It's in the buffer zone.
Yes. it is in
Yeah, it's
the
a
buffer
buffer
zone.
zone.
So that'll be through the
That's
city, so they've got.
I don't, the city has 1 year on theirs as well, but that's if they
They
got
have to
it.
go back and reapply if they hadn't turned around.
The city gave them a variance on the construction start date. It was unlimited on the construction on the battery side.
Okay.
They issued a variance with no timeframes.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Bronner and I live at 2340 West Deputy Pike Road in Madison, Indiana. I wanted to let you know the first goal of Jefferson County's comprehensive plan is to support the viability of agriculture in Jefferson County, Indiana. It was not written by farmers. It was started in 2023 by Jefferson County Comprehensive Plan and was created in a collaborative effort including a citizen steering committee, county staff, and urban planning firm. The Jefferson County Board of Commissioners formally adopted this plan in August of 2024. The development team included a 32-member citizen steering committee. This diverse group represented various stakeholders across the county. Jefferson County government staff, members of the county's planning zoning department helped develop this plan. Planning Next, the consulting firm led the public process, branded Envision Jefferson County, which collected over 2,000 ideas for the future. It is important to note that this plan does not cover the cities of Madison and Hanover as they have their own planning jurisdiction. Planning Next, the consulting firm led by the public process branded Envision Jefferson County, which collectively collected over 2,000 ideas for Jefferson County. So this comprehensive plan was not done by a bunch of farmers. It was
Well,
done by
the
those people.
Envision Jefferson County was not the project that put together Jefferson County's comprehensive plan.
Well, it wasn't the farmers, did
So,
you just insinuate?
Well, we had public meetings where people could
Right.
come and offer their ideas. We didn't just make up the ideas that went into the comprehensive plan.
I'm just gonna say for the record, I'm very disappointed in your delivery of Saluda being swampland.
I didn't say it, I said,
you just-
I said that the water level and the ground level are the same in parts of Saluda.
That's true, but you were very condoning in that property in Saluda, and it's not bad land. It is not bad land at all. That's what you were saying. Or that's how I
Well, I'm
interpret
sorry.
it. And I just wanted you to know that it wasn't a bunch of farmers that made that their goal for their comprehensive plan.
I have a question on the BESS systems. Is there an evacuation plan in case there's a fire? Because there was just another one this week. You read about it every week, that there's another one that's gone up in fire or something, and they emit so many toxins and stuff. Is there an evacuation plan if that's approved and goes in?
There will be,
Have to present it.
it's part of the development,
That's the city.
Have to go.
City
but it's gonna be the city's
The city,
zoning.
the city has already approved it. I mean, that process has been completed.
But there is a plan, there has
On
to
the
be a
battery
evacuation plan
Yeah,
in place
so
before
that's the one just-
it's built, before it's actually
But
built.
there's no responsibility to fire department to do what they need to do.
That's my question, is that it's in the plan that they'll have evacuation plan. I mean, is that a part of before they can actually start building an operation?
It's
That
be
it
before
has
the
to
city.
That'd be before the city. I don't know what's in the city.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
I mean, there's been discussions with Matt, EMA director and the,
Chiefs.
right, to get those things going. So there will need to be a plan before they start operation, so.
Well, when we were at the, a year ago at the Madison, one for the rezoning, the night of the vote, the mayor stated that a commissioner had gotten in touch with him the day or night before, and that if it went through, that the city would receive so much money, like $1 million or something. Is that true or
No,
not true?
it's not $1 million. There was gonna be some split of the economic development agreement funds. But it wasn't $1 million. It wasn't $1 million per year from that project to,
But there was money that would,
I think it was $75,000 a year.
so, well, we took it as an encouragement for it to be rezoned.
A bribe.
And it's on the city
That's all it was.
meeting. I mean, you can go back and look at it.
I'm not
I mean, it's
sure
recorded.
what his, but that's not the amount. Maybe over the 10 years, but that still doesn't get you to,
Now, there was a
that would have been $750,000, so it's still
but
short
there
of a
was a
million.
call made to the mayor and as.
No, I mean, we were all, so it was in the city's zoning, so they contacted the county to bring us into the discussions with the company. So it wasn't like they were left out of those discussions. They were part of those discussions from the beginning.
But the mayor threw one of you under the bus.
Well,
when he-
sure, he probably threw me, and that's fine.
Okay.
It's okay. We go way back and we continue on, so it's not a big deal, you know? Well, we had nothing to do with the wheel tax, okay? It was done over there, and there was 7 other people that decided to put in the wheel tax. We did not.
We gotta pay.
We just got through under the proverbial bus.
I don't know that they
We
did
have
that.
Goodrich on the-
I don't know that they did that, but we did not. We got the meeting notices like you when they were gonna be out. So.
We have numbers that if this was to go in for the safety of the Jefferson County residents, like the battery plant. I'm familiar with that. I know the fire department's gotta have a certain phone. From my understanding, this phone's very expensive. So the cost of building up our fire departments, our EMS departments, with the equipment that they need to combat the worst case scenario. But one thing they can't combat is which way the wind's blowing. And the day it burns, I hope it ain't blowing my way. But anyways, have we thought of those inputs that we are going to have to pay to do that?
Solar or battery, which?
Battery.
Battery. Yeah, that was in the discussion.
Let's just be realistic. If there's gonna be a battery plant built in Madison, our intentions are is having solar and tying it into our grid. That's why everyone wants to come here, is because we've got a great grid system, right? So let's just be real, okay? Whether you're for it or against it, let's be real. For nothing else, the safety and the residents of Jefferson County. So my question is, yes, I know that we've been promised so much a year for our schools and our counties and this and this and this. But we've also got an investment that we're gonna have to take out of those funds. And like I said, I'm no expert, but I was told that this phone is really costly. Have we looked at the investment that we're gonna have to spend out of the money that they're promising us just to keep us safe? Let alone our county roads when these trucks come rolling in with the metal. I mean, you guys, let's just be real. I mean, if they're gonna build a project and they have a lot of heavy semis coming in with heavy steel and heavy equipment, I'm sure you guys are gonna have an investment in fixing the road back
We've
So-
already had that
Yeah,
conversation.
there is, there is
I
a
have.
plan. Well,
Okay.
there is a plan for the roads that they will be put back to the shape that they're in before. So that's been taken care of. I mean, you know.
Brand new blacktop there.
Yeah, so I mean, the battery farm, it was, then it wasn't, and then we don't know. Is it going forward or is it not? But there will be a plan to address the safety issues. There will be some requirements from EMA as far as what needs to be on site to take care of an issue should it occur. And then, so those discussions are ongoing. I don't know that they're finalized yet, but those discussions are ongoing or will be ongoing once it looks like it, if it is gonna go forward, so.
And one more question and I'll leave you alone.
You can keep asking.
When we talk about decommission, right? Okay, that's a long time ago. I'm gonna be dead and gone, and I'm sorry, but most of you probably will be too. Okay, now with that being said, our children are gonna, in my mind, our children's gonna pay for this with tax dollars. How can anybody ask for an estimate? I don't care what business you're in, of what something's gonna cost 25 years from now. So how do we come up with that decommissioning number of what it's gonna cost 25 years from now to decommission this?
So the part of the plan is that will be reevaluated every 5 years, 3 years.
Every 3 years.
They'll have to go back and redo the estimate, and then the bond will need to be increased more than likely to cover that, plus 25%. And we put it as the decommissioning.
20 or 25, I can't remember.
Yeah, and they brought that up, so we said, sure, we'll do that. So,
Will we be protected as a county and residents that, if one of their LLCs file bankruptcy on us, that, and one of their parent companies come back in later to purchase, through the court system, are we going to be protected on this bonding from a different identity?
We put very strong language in our bonding requirements. To protect it against those type of things, that we wanted a bond up front that remained in place to where either the bond, it was paid to us in full or the decommissioning had occurred. Just because the developer stopped paying on the bond doesn't mean the bond goes away. So we have extremely strong language on how the bond, and we've discussed at length. We had a lot of those exact same concerns that you're expressing. And worked very hard to put language in that would provide those protections. And then even went further with language that made sure that the ground would be put back to the same conditions it was in before the solar would go in.
So basically the bond's tied to the ground, not to the developer.
And
right?
then on top of that, and some of the property owners aren't too happy over it, we also have a requirement that the landowner acknowledges and has to sign in that they're responsible for the decommissioning if all the rest of it doesn't occur. It's still theirs to take care of. So we've
Just a
got,
quick question, if that operation's an LLC, and that LLC files bankruptcy, are they still committed?
the bond would still be committed, that's why you have it.
I meant the family.
It was the LLC, whoever had control of it, whoever the property owner is, would be subject to that, yes. Cause if the property owners also had the benefit of the income for however many years that it was in solar panels, so we thought they should also share the responsibility if they want the county to trust the developer in the bond, they need to be willing to trust the developer in the bond to do what they say they would do.
Thank you.
Good questions.
thank you.
Thank you, guys. You guys have listened to a lot of people. I know that certain people take things personally. I hope that you guys listen to everybody who is speaking here and know they are not coming here to you to yell at you. They're coming here because they are fighting for their livelihoods. And they are asking you to go back and watch the meetings of where they come up with these rules for the UDO. Have you guys watched them all? I know you were at some of them, but you can hear residents who have put time, money, thousands of dollars into this to prepare for the BZA, to fight this. We don't want to fight it every single time an application goes in. It is disheartening to know that our representative thinks so little of our township. That they don't want to fight for it. To just ask for what is fair for everybody. It's coming, we can't stop it. So what setbacks can we do that helps everybody? What can we do that helps everybody? So I know it feels personal because you guys are in the hot seat. Nothing anybody says out here is personal. It is a job that you guys volunteered for. And we look to you to represent us in that. So the emails that you get over the next few weeks before we go into this decision, I hope that you guys really read and consider and think about it. Think about if it was in your backyard, your mother's property that you want to space off for your kids, that now these are all going to be future barriers. So just think about how it affects everybody. Nobody is here coming after you.
What she's saying is if it was going across the county road from your house,
Yeah.
which side would you be sitting on?
And it's not our job to protect a multi-million-dollar business. If they want to come to us, it's like any other business. If I want to start a business, I have to present to the community why I'm good for them. And if they come back with, we need this and this from you, if I'm so confident in myself, I would be willing to do those things to make a place for me.
And we feel like they talked down on us. You sat through the meeting at Hanover at the high school. Remember that we're gonna be a great partner with Jefferson County. We're not gonna give you one wildflower. We're gonna give you 2 species. We're going together bring back the endangered butterfly. They talk down to us like that. I mean, we're not ignorant, right?
We're just farmers.
Well, we care about our neighbors too. These people aren't just strangers to us. In Saluda, everybody is related at some point. Somebody is a cousin. Cousins are signed, cousins are not signed, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, we're still a community. So whether this turns into a great success or not, we all still have to be there for each other. But how do we protect everybody to get there?
And how do we reunite our community? Because this has divided us.
And it seems that it's on your lap now, but honestly, I feel like when they were planning this, they were tired of messing with it and it got pushed on. And everybody just wants to push it on, and it kind of stinks that it's in front of you.
Well,
But
how many
that's the
people are
job.
signed? And how many people are you representing in the county?
All of them.
And the people that have signed.
I don't know
what
how
are
many
they?
signed.
1%
Yeah.
of everybody that you represent? I mean, there's probably 100 approximately, I don't know, people that have signed with solar compared to how many people in the county?
You guys have heard so much from both sides, right? And I do applaud you guys for that and the job, the chair you guys sat in. But at the end of the day, there's so many unknowns here, right? And I can only imagine what you guys go through with, this side trying to present this, the other side presenting that. But at the end of the day, we are a county. I mean, it's divided the county, it's divided family members, friends, and for what? I mean, is it for the benefit of the county? All of the county.
Or is it like IKE that we end up with cancer and other people get the electricity off of it?
But the big fear is the unknown. There's so much unknown here with the solar. And you almost gotta drag politics in it because it's a green thing, right? Well, now, with President Trump, he stopped the funding, from my understanding, in the big beautiful bill. Anything that's in progress, they're gonna continue to pay for, but anything that's not in progress, they're not. I get it, and maybe you're thinking is, well, let's go ahead and prepare the situation 4 years from now to see which way it flies that time. But a lot of unknowns here, and not against it. Understand what I'm saying? If it benefits Jefferson County and the people in Jefferson County, all people in Jefferson County. I don't know if it causes cancer or not. I don't think there's any true studies out there that should. But I know one thing. I stood on my porch talking to the representatives from Blackstone. And there again, they want to talk down on us. And I point blank asked him, because at the time we were working off the 200-foot. I said, sir, can I stand on my front porch with coffee and hear the humming? Here's what he said, Mr. Neal, how good's your hearing? I'm 59. It's not what it used to be, but I can still hear. He said, yeah, you'll hear. Who wants to walk out of their home, humming? So many other unknowns. Look at it, because if you guys haven't seen this, I ask that you guys take a drive down 135 in Corydon, Indiana, cross the Ohio River Bridge. When you get to the top of the hill, turn right on State Highway 79 and go look at that beautiful property that, in my opinion, has been destroyed. I don't want that across the road from my house. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna lay down tonight and sleep good knowing there's one on 7th Street in Kentucky. But I don't want it across from my house. And I honestly don't think that any of you do. And I would almost guarantee you, the property owners that's asking for it wouldn't live across from it either.
My property value guaranteed. If I was so sure of my product and it wouldn't bring down my property value of my neighbor, then why not put that in there? Because it would never cost me anything. But that's something that they don't want to do because there's a risk that it's going to bring your property value down. So just please listen to what everybody's asking and really put thought into it. You guys got a big job and we know that. So just please take the time to really think about what was asked. We're not asking you to get rid of it. That's not where we are, but we're asking you to really consider the boundaries.
We understand both sides. You know, your guys' job is also to help grow and support Jefferson County. And we see that you guys see this as an opportunity. We get that. We're trust me, we're not your guys' enemies. But there again, all I'm asking you is for a few rules. Bobby set it back to where when I sit on my front porch, I can't hear it. Set it back to 750. Split the difference with him between the 500 and 1,000. But the split is 750, not 650, okay? Give some opportunities. If you gotta do this, give opportunities both ways. That's all I ask for.
Wow.
Good discussion.
Yeah, yeah. But turned quiet awful quick. Anybody else? You know what? I appreciate, because we represent 37,000 people in Jefferson County, roughly 32, sorry. Somewhere in that area. And we sit after the meeting sometimes and talk, and we're serious about our community too. You know, we live here. We don't commute out. I grew up Canaan, Indiana my whole life, moved to Texas for 1 year and couldn't wait to get back. So I love this community that much. And we do try to watch out for it, and we'll continue to.
So the 18th is your next meeting at 5 o'clock,
Yes.
Yes.
and that's where you'll bring up the third reading and any amendments and probably vote.
Will that be here or?
We'll try to. This room isn't very big. Okay, no more public comment?
I have an announcement if I can make it.
Yep, please.
Got to do with anything that we talked about here.
Yep.
September the 11th, which is 9/11, this year, was actually on September the 11th. And I'm on a committee that has put together a remembrance ceremony. And it will be held at the Madison Veterans Memorial Cemetery. People can start gathering there at 9:30. And it will
It will begin promptly at 9:55 and end right about 11 o'clock. Anybody welcome to attend. There's be several different presenters. Of course, Mayor Courtney will be a keynote speaker about it. There's the Madison High School Elite Choir will be there, also performing a couple of patriotic things in between on the agenda. And Matt True and Sheriff Flint and some others.
Sounds good. Advertise that out.
It should be a very touching memorial service or,
Yeah,
ceremony.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to forget.
Yeah.
Dave, you have anything?
Nope.
Nope. Bobby? Nope. Well, I don't have anything to add. Good meeting. Thank you all. Thanks for coming, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
We adjourn.
My second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You say 9:30.
And you start gathering at 9:30, yeah.